should there ever be a Back to the Future 4? Now, the idea of this video came to me, believe it or not. I had a dream last night that I saw Back to the Future 4, that it was released, and I went to the cinema and saw it. Now, up to this point, I've kind of always been on the bandwagon of they shouldn't make it, you know, and it shouldn't be made. I mean, this is a video anyway that is in acceptance that it won't be made, because Robert Zemeckis has made it absolutely clear that he would never do it even if the actors wanted to, so it's never going to get made, which is sad. But the question is, should there be? Would you want that? And the weird thing about recently is I've just been getting this itch to see Marty and the Doc again. There's some really cool fan trailers on YouTube for Back to the Future 4. There's some really cool ways that people have spliced together footage of Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd, and it gets you, you know, it gets you intrigued, it gets you nostalgic. And in this age of nostalgia, it kind of seems to be hit and miss. Either the film works or it doesn't. You know, Blade Runner 2049 was a sequel after lots of time, and it worked really well. But then you have other ones like Dumb and Dumber 2, which don't work that well. But I feel like, you know, like Bill and Ted 3, which is coming out, but you know, Back to the Future 4 is interesting to me. You know, I know people only think of it as the trilogy, but I kind of think that it is one of those ones that you'd want to see in present day. You know, like Bill and Ted 3. You know, when you first say Bill and Ted 3, you're like, really? But then you think, hang on, yeah, I do want to see those guys again. And I think it's the strength of the characters that makes you want to see them again. It's the strength of Marty and Doc that it doesn't really matter how old they are. It doesn't really matter how much time has passed, because they have that chemistry. Christopher Lloyd has come out and he has said he'd be very open to Back to the Future 4, and he'd love to play the Doc again, which is great. You know, he's the only one in the original cast that really have ever talked about it, to be honest. Michael J. Fox, I think he's kind of resided to the fact that it would never happen. I think he's got it in his head that no one would want to see him with his Parkinson's disease, which I've never viewed that as a factor. You know, if you're going to sit there in the cinema and, you know, it's going to take you out of it to see clearly someone with Parkinson's, you know, it wouldn't take me out of it, because I respect the guy. You know, I just wouldn't, you know, and the guy's really got on top of it. I've seen interviews with him, you know, where you can barely tell that he even has it, you know. So, you know, mad props to him, and well done. And I hope he continues to get better. You know, I don't think we notice it that much in the film. I think they could do things to make you notice it less, and even if you did notice it, I wouldn't really hold it against him. I think if Bill and Ted 3 is good, then I'll end up wanting Back to the Future 4 more. You know, and I never thought we'd see the day of Bill and Ted 3, but they've always wanted to do it. And that's the difference. Back to the Future 4, no one's wanted to do it except for Christopher Lloyd. You know, Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale made it abundantly clear they will never in their lifetime make this movie. Or a reboot. You know, no one wants to see a reboot of Back to the Future, but guess what, Zemeckis? Guess what, Gale? When you're not here anymore, they will do it. They will do it, guys. So maybe you should just make Back to the Future 4 to put your last stamp on it, to say, well, if it's going to happen, we might as well do it. I think you could have some really interesting stuff in it, like in the age of CGI pretty much looking completely real, like in Terminator Dark Fate, where they recreated Linda Hamilton and Edward Furlong and Schwarzenegger. You could recreate the Marty and Doc from Back to the Future 1 and 2 and have today's Marty and Doc go back to those movies, and you could have that whole playing around with time and time periods that Back to the Future 2 had. And you know, you could go back to any part of those films with the way that they can do perfect CGI renditions of people today. And I just think it'd be really interesting, and I want to see them running around time again. I guess I'm just feeling nostalgic, and I am a very nostalgic person, as you all know. But it's just, I think it would be fun, you know, it'd be like a good last hurrah. And I'm sitting here in a day and age where everything's being made. So if everything's being made, why not we just show them how it's done, you know, and have a last hurrah for Back to the Future? But it is a gigantic risk, you know. If this movie sucked, it would be one of the biggest disappointments of all time, and I think maybe the risk factor of disappointment is worth not doing it. Maybe I should just have that memory of Back to the Future, and you know, those films still exist, you can still watch them. You know, it was really great to see Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd do that reunion sketch on Jimmy Kimmel. That was a really fun thing. But you know, I feel like people have got in their head that to bring it back you have to have Marty in the old clothes like he wore on that sketch, but you don't. You can have him as an adult, you know, still the same person, but as an adult. He doesn't have to dress like an 80s teenager. You can update it. But as I say, you can go back to the other films, you can bring in some fun references of today's technology, today's transport, all this kind of stuff. And, you know, the DeLorean is still cool. Everyone still finds that so cool to look at. You know, Ready Player One jumped on a DeLorean. Everyone still wants to see the DeLorean. But I don't think we're ever going to see this movie. It seems like a dream of mine that I'm now kind of strongly wishing would happen. Which is weird, because I'm someone who just doesn't want, in general, a lot of sequels and reboots. But, you know, I'm getting pumped for Bill and Ted 3, and Back to the Future, it deserves that last tribute before they inevitably do reboot it, which they will. You know, the second Zemeckis isn't here, and hopefully that's for many years, they are going to jump on that shit. So just be aware of that, Zemeckis. Yeah, what do you guys think? Should there be a Back to the Future 4? Would you watch a Back to the Future 4? Would you be excited about a Back to the Future 4? Have you ever thought about a Back to the Future 4? Let me know in the comments down below, and please click another video of mine on the screen now and just subscribe if you're a movie obsessive just like me, and I will see you guys next time.